if I told all of you, hey, you know what? Go out in the street tomorrow, write on a piece of paper, free hugs, hold it above your head and say, free hugs! Free hugs, everyone! Free hugs! Guaranteed the majority of you could not do this. Why? Why do you feel like you're going to die if you do this? And I know this because old me would have felt the same. I have clients doing this, and they're like, I was trembling for 20 minutes before even being able to raise the free hug sign. Is that an appropriate response to reality? Are you going to die? Now, it depends where you live. Maybe someone's like, free hug! Here, are you going to die? No. So it's not normal. But then what do? We assume this is normal anxiety. Oh, I just have social anxiety. Oh, I'm just introverted. No, you're getting triggered. That is also when your tendencies to escape will kick in, which is why identifying the escapism, you could say, is the outer side, triggers the other side of it, okay? And of course, whenever you're triggered, what's the best thing to do? Do a release, okay? Numbing it, escaping it, even expressing it doesn't work. And I'm sure you've experienced this before, especially with anger triggers, right? Most common one that I always joke about is road rage, right? Someone cuts you off and you start screaming in the car. Anyone ever do that? Anyone scream in the car? Insult the person who just cut them or went in front of them? Really, just a few? Really? None of you have said some bad word to someone. It's like, you fucking cocksucker or whatever it is. And then you're like, what did I say? I think there was even a Louis C.K. bit where he joked about this. He's like, the rules are different when you're driving. Like in person, if someone cut you off, you're like, oh, sorry, it's okay. When you're driving, it's like, you cocksucker, you worthless piece of shit. It's like totally different. Right? It's like, it's a thing. Now, when that happens, especially if you're having a bad day, you'll see people just let loose. You'll even see, like, if you go on TikTok, crazy videos of what happens. And it's dangerous. But here's the thing. What's happening there? You're triggered. You're really angry. It's like that little drop that just made everything overflow. And you're just like, that person who cut me off. And the urge then is to express it. Yell it out. If you're home alone, it might just like, I just want to punch the wall or something. Thinking, but what's the intention there? I want to get rid of what I'm feeling. If expressing triggeredness worked, every single person with road rage would be enlightened. It doesn't work. You can scream as much as you want. It doesn't make things better. It actually makes things worse, right? Especially if you're talking to someone and you're triggered, then you say something, it triggers them, and you're in this whole trigger fest. It makes things way worse. So identify when you're triggered and do a release instead. And whenever you're triggered, what gets activated? Something from your past. This is a great way to identify past trauma, by the way, which all of you have. Every single person here has past trauma. Not necessarily in the classic sense where you think, oh, trauma, violence, abuse, so on and so forth. But even on a more subtle level, simply getting lost in a grocery store. Or guess what? What I talked about before with my daughter, embarrassment. That's traumatic from her point of view. You get it? You fall. Okay, you're 2.5. Put yourself in her shoes. You fall. And you look up and everyone's staring at you. You reach a point where you have enough self-awareness and you also realize that you can't fend for yourself. You depend on your parents or whoever is raising you for survival. Meaning, if they suddenly don't love you, what happens? They could stop caring for you, and what happens? You die. So from that perspective, you're on the verge of death every day. They could leave me at any time, and what am I going to do? I'm dead. So it's actually very scary. You fall like that, it's like, oh, maybe I made a fool of myself. If I made a fool of myself, my parents could love me less. If they love me less, they get rid of me, and I die. So something as trivial as that, just tripping over. Why is it embarrassment, verge of tear? Survival instinct kicking in. I could die. This is a big deal. Being mocked in class, same thing. As a kid, the classroom's the world. You don't know, like growing up, anything beyond the classroom. Notice you're like, who are the popular kids in class? Can I fit in with them? Because they are all that matters. There's nothing else outside this classroom. This classroom is my life. Hey, if you're mocked in the classroom, that's like getting kicked out of the world. Traumatic. So little things like that. Lost in the grocery store. Where are my parents? Oh, I'm dead. Nope, they're just in aisle 3. I'm dead. I'm dead. That's trauma. That gets imprinted. And then you start living your life that way.